live on YouTube.
You're going to put the lights on?
Yeah, sure.
There we go, video. Oop. We don't press the right button. How's your day been anyway? Good.
Yeah,
Oh, you were going to come into it this morning? What happened?
because I had to do, I wanted to finish all the stuff that I had on the pipeline.
We'll have to do it. When are we going to do it then?
Well, I was thinking about to take this week as a putting down some strategy and putting down some
Okay.
stuff. So starting doing from the next one.
Maybe we can just get together while we're sitting together so you can listen to, especially for the video stuff.
Okay, cool.
That's all.
Cool.
Facebook. Okay, great. It's great. Cool. Go. Okay, excellent. Happy with that?
Yep.
Wow, what a beautiful evening it is.
It is.
That's going.
Here we go.
Facebook Q&A. Welcome to a beautiful evening. It's 22nd of October already. It's probably our final day of having some beautiful weather before it's going to get incredibly cold and incredibly wintry here in London. But we cannot complain. It's been a good long summer, even for our Italians as well in London. They can't believe it as well. Welcome to episode 38 of our candidate Q&A. So every Monday we like to provide questions. Unfortunately, I was in the US last week, so I wasn't able to be here. Mark's unfortunately not well with those wintry feelings coming on from many people. So we've got 5 questions that I wanted to answer this week. If you've got any questions that you wanted to put to us, you can actually jump on Facebook and just ask us those questions. You can send it to us at info@vineresources.com. You can even send it to me as well on Facebook. You can send it on Facebook and also Twitter and Instagram. So I'll just jump straight into the questions before we finish off today. Harry, I know Harry, so thanks for this question. He's an enterprise architect currently working in London. Thanks, Harry, for this question. Harry wanted to know how often he should follow up on his application for a job. Now, Harry, it's a great question because we actually get this quite a lot where people don't know how to follow up or how often to follow up. But I would say you should be following up every single time. And what I mean by that is, you should be making sure that you're applying, first of all, to applicable jobs that you feel that you can fill. Now, I know in your case, Harry, you're a contractor, so it might be, people might have a different perception for permanent. Many people in the contract market may apply for huge number of jobs, seeing it as a bit of a volume game. Other people will tend to be much more selective and will then also look to follow up. And I've known many people over the years who will always call, after every single application has been sent to them. So it's worth having a think about, well, what's important to you? How much time have you got? And how important is that job to you? But in my view, you should be making the effort to follow up for those jobs that you truly believe that you're a great fit for, or that company would be a great fit for you. Martin is a project manager based over in Zurich. Martin, thanks for this. He wanted to know how flexible companies are for people working from home, and how are we seeing any trends? And again, Martin's also a contractor. Martin, I think it really depends from company to company. And not only from company to company, but almost manager to manager. So some organisations will have a very well-defined flexible working policy. They may even have a hot desk environment where you won't have a fixed desk at all. Some companies will have not enough space, so you'll be working from home because they don't have the space in the office, which also has its own challenges sometimes if you need to get meetings and they don't have enough meeting rooms with any kind of video conferencing facilities. But I would say, Martin, it really depends on the manager and the team. And often as a contractor, the manager will want you to be in there to perhaps show yourself, prove yourself, to make sure things work well together. And of course, more importantly, to build that relationship and build that trust. And I think once you've been in there and you're working for that organisation, you're building that relationship and you're building that trust with that organisation, perhaps they'll be much more flexible. You could ask it at the start of the interview process, and if there's particular reasons why or particular days that you need to be working from home, be upfront, be honest about it, and share with them and find out what they feel about that. And again, be flexible with them also in the fact that you might need to go in and prove yourself, to build that relationship, to show that trust, and hopefully then you can move on to a more flexible working scenario with that company. Belinda is based up in Edinburgh. Belinda's working in the telecoms industry. I think she's working as a BA actually, or Scrum Master, I do apologise. She wanted to ask us how should she follow up on a verbal offer she's received from a company, which was over a month ago, and she's not heard anything for the last 3 weeks. I understand you need to make a decision and let your current employee know if you can't get hold of, but you can't get hold of the internal recruiter. Okay, Belinda. So look, if the case is that you haven't heard from the company for 3 weeks after you've been given a verbal offer, I'd be quite concerned by that. But let's try and think about the reasons why that might have happened. It could be that internal recruiter has actually left the company. So there could be a breakdown in communication somewhere that perhaps wasn't a handover, and perhaps they're not there anymore. They could have also gone on holiday, of course, and not provided a handover. Of course, there's no excuse, but I'm just thinking of some of the reasons why. Look, if you haven't heard from them in the last 3 weeks, you need to make that a priority to reach anyone in the organisation. So what I would suggest is, I'm sure there's someone else in the company, the HR manager, the recruitment manager, the resource manager, and better than that, I'm sure you went and spoke to a hiring manager. I would suggest you get in touch, reach out to the hiring manager. You could email him, you could LinkedIn him, you could phone him at the office. I'm sure if that person has care and consideration of you joining the company, that person will be just as concerned and may not even realise that you haven't heard from that organisation already. So just get on the phone, Belinda, make it happen, follow it up. And if you don't get any feedback and don't get a good feeling, or perhaps people are panning you off, pouring you away, and they're not interested in you, perhaps that company isn't for you. But I would quickly find out, give them the benefit of the doubt. And if you need any more help on that, just feel free to give us a call here. Taz is a business analyst working in Germany. Thanks for this, Taz. He wanted to know how long he should wait for feedback once his CV has been sent for a role. He seems to be, he's in a permanent job, and he seems to be waiting a long time for people to get back to him. Taz, we get this question quite a lot, and again, it really depends on so many different factors. It could be country specific, it could be job specific, it could be industry, it could be the size of the organisation, the volume of applications they're getting, either big or small. So there's so many different things around that, Taz. I would say, most companies now who want to be authentic and who want to be upfront about their process will give you some guidance on their website around the time it takes for them to process the CV. Now, there's not many companies doing that, but the good ones will be thinking about that. And the good ones will also be getting back to people fairly quickly. So normally I would say with a permanent job, you should be hearing back within, you should really be hearing back within 48 hours to a week. But for some companies it may take longer, they might have huge volumes of candidates, so it can be really difficult to answer that question. Again, I would say, follow up, chase up perhaps your application, give them a nudge after a few days. Perhaps you know someone within the organisation already. If you haven't heard within 2 weeks, I would just put my own mind and I'd close that off in my own mind and focus on other roles. If that comes back, if they get back in touch with you, you could look at it as a bonus. But perhaps if they're not, you haven't got that organisation in place to manage the volume of candidates, or that they're just simply not interested in you. And I wouldn't take it personally, it is what it is. Joanna is based in Warsaw. Final question of the day. Thanks, Joanna. Joanna is over in Poland, in Warsaw, and she wanted to ask us our view on video interviews. She's wanted to find out if people were using them more and what we think about it, and also because she was asked to do one recently. Joanna, I think they're really great. It's something that we do in our organisation to help our own customers. Many people may not feel comfortable in front of camera, but I think it's something more and more people will tend to get used to as being the norm, and it gives you a chance really to showcase yourself as a candidate by not only just showcasing your CV, but actually showcasing yourself with your personality and a bit more about you. It's very difficult to write down everything about you as a candidate in your CV, and particularly if you're applying for a particular job, you could hone in and talk about those areas from your CV, or from the job perhaps, that they want and the skills and experience they're looking for and the personality traits, and you could really talk about that in that short interview. And if you're doing that and another 10 candidates are not doing that, you can already think that that's going to put you at an advantage, because the person's going to not only hear you, they're going to see you as well, and they're going to be able to read your CV as well, and it's going to give you the best chance of getting it. So if it was me, Joanna, I would embrace it. I would start using it where you can, where you're being offered to do that, and we certainly use it in our company, and it's very successful for us, both for our clients but also for our candidates. That's all the questions for today on our Facebook Live. I hope you have a great evening. I hope if you're in this area today, it's actually a beautiful sunset coming up for that winter sun. If you've got any more questions you want to ask us, you can just send it to us on Facebook here, and we'll be more than happy to answer you every Monday around about 5:30.